Hi angels! I'm coming at you guys today with a fresh face. This is probably the first time that I've done a video without makeup on, and I honestly don't have on makeup because I feel like I'm getting like a sty on my eye and I don't want to wear makeup and then have to like irritate it and rub it, all that stuff. It's a whole thing. So all I'm coming to you guys with is just my current favorite lip gloss, which will be linked down below. If you guys follow me on Instagram, which you totally should, Aisha Christina Foster, thank you, follow me on Instagram, then you would see that I've been posting about this. This is not sponsored. I'm posting about this because this is incredible. It's so moisturizing, and I actually really like the tint of this because it kind of gives me more color on my face, and I don't know. I feel like this whole thing is just a look. Hamptons, carefree, yada, yada, yada. Also, make sure that you guys have your post notifications turned on and that you give this video a big thumbs up, and thank you so much for joining me today. I have a very, very special video for you guys today. This is probably one of the most research-intensive videos that I've ever done. However, I basically read this book called Psychopath Free so that you guys kind of really don't have to. So I will also link the book down below. Every single thing that I'm going to be talking about and referencing today is coming directly from that book. So today, angels, we are going to be talking about toxic people and narcissists and psychopaths, essentially. And I know that so many of you guys are going to be able to resonate with this, and I hope that in discussing this that you guys will be able to identify if you are in one, and this will be a two-part video little series. So in the next video, part 2, I will talk about how to recover from these types of relationships. So today we're just going to be discussing how to identify if you are in fact in a relationship or happen to know someone that is a psychopath, a toxic person, or a narcissist, because we love talking about so-and-so's a narcissist, all this stuff. Today we're going to uncover all of that right now. So I first want to say, in watching this, right, in identifying if you are in fact in a relationship with someone that is a narcissist or a toxic person, after watching this video, you're no longer going to find yourself a victim of self-doubt, cryptic letters, manufactured anxiety, or even desperately waiting for a text from somebody that you love. So first, we're actually going to identify the red flags. Now, specifically in this book, there are so many red flags. There are about 30 that are listed, but I'm only going to discuss the ones that I felt, stuck out to me. So I know in my videos, I always talk about your intuition. And in this book specifically, it does state that your intuition is a skill set that is your greatest defense against someone that is a manipulative person. And the more that you develop leaning into your intuition, it is something that cannot be exploited. And it's going to be, again, your greatest skill set. So let's start identifying some red flags, shall we? Starting with number 1, gaslighting and crazy making. So as we know, people that are toxic, right? Because we want to use these terms very carefully, because you can be a toxic person without necessarily being a psychopath. I just want to be clear on that. So people that are toxic in general, right? When it comes to gaslighting and making you feel like you're the crazy one, what they're going to do is condition you to believe that the problem is not the abuse itself, but it's your reaction to the problem, or their abuse, I should say. So whenever it comes to addressing their own behavior of being insensitive or whatever it is that they did wrong, they're going to turn it around on you and somehow make it your fault, or say that you're just being sensitive or you're being crazy. People that gaslight and want you to think that you're crazy blatantly deny their own behavior. Red flag number 2. They are the ultimate hypocrite, okay? It's always do as I say and not do as I do. We all know that everyone in the world actually likes to be led by example, okay? That's why we have the term practice what you preach, because it's very difficult to accept and be receptive to a message from someone when we know that they're not living out that truth themselves. Right? So people that are extremely hypocritical, right? Not only do they criticize a lot, but they have very high expectations of things that they actually do not follow with themselves. That can pertain to fidelity, respect, and also adoration. And when you're in a relationship with someone like this, they expect you to be perfect all the time. And they kind of make you feel like if you don't live up to their standards and essentially listen to whatever it is that they say, that you will be replaced by someone else. Number 3, this is so typical, right? They are pathological liars and they have a million excuses. They spend more time rationalizing their behavior as opposed to actually changing it. And sometimes when it comes to people that are pathological liars, they don't care if you confront them with the truth. And sometimes they even want you to catch them. And what's weird is that they express no remorse or embarrassment for it at all. And then it makes you feel crazy because then it makes you feel like, well, so was it actually that bad what happened? Or no, these are the traits of a toxic person or a psychopath. This is what they do. I'm not even going to count anymore. I'm just going to name another trait of a toxic person or psychopath. So they focus on your mistakes instead of their own. Now, it's always easy to call out what everyone else is doing, but a lot of people that are hypercritical, right? They don't like to be checked on their own stuff. And they happen to be the most judgmental people ever. It's really funny how that works. So if you do anything with this person, like for instance, if you were late once for something, right? And then they could be 2 hours late to something, and then they'll turn around on you. Okay, well, remember when we first went on a date, you were like 10 minutes late? Like they always have to flip it back around on you. And what this does to you is this makes you sort of develop perfectionistic qualities because you don't want any mistake that you make to be held against you. Next, you find yourself explaining to a grown person the basic instincts of human respect. I'm sure we've all been there before where you're just explaining to someone, you don't do that. You don't behave like that. Like what just happened just now? And essentially, no adult should have to be told how they are making someone else feel when there is blatant disrespect. And people that are like this, they often try to hide behind a childlike or innocent mask. Don't be fooled. Selfishness and also a crippling need for attention. Okay, these people are all consuming in your life. Their demand for adoration is insatiable. Okay, there is no threshold for these people. And that's why these people are like emotional hijackers, energy, vampires, because they want you to feel like, oh my gosh, like you're the only person that can make me happy. When in reality, no one and nothing can make these type of people happy. This is a huge one. They accuse you of emotions that they are intentionally provoking. Make that make sense. I'm sure we've all been there before. This person can call you jealous when they're blatantly flirting with someone in front of your face. They'll call you needy when they're the one that is ignoring you for days on end. And essentially, they manufacture these reactions out of you so that while they're finding someone else to fill the void and entertain, they can speak about you and garner sympathy from that other target, we should say, to make you seem like you're too much and you're crazy and you're this and you're that, because it takes the attention off of them and it allows them to be well received and have sympathy essentially from the other person. I think this one is also a huge one. They make you fear that your next fight could be your last. This one really hit home for me because in so many different, relationships I hear, we don't want to say the wrong thing, to make that person not like us anymore. We just want to, do everything they say and just act like, okay, I don't want to do anything to upset this person. I don't want to say the wrong thing because they're not going to like me anymore. So what? Whoever's going to like you is going to like you regardless. Okay, keep that in mind. That's number one. No one normal should make you feel like if you bring something up that is genuinely upsetting you, that, oh my gosh, this could be the last fight that we have and this person's going to break up with me. What does this do for you? What this is going to do for you is it's going to make you not mention anything that's bothering you. You're going to be hoarding all of these feelings, internalizing all of these feelings, and walking on eggshells so that you can appease that person when they are emotionally manipulating you. So what they do is any effort to, bring up if their behavior is upsetting you will be followed by, contempt or the silent treatment. So essentially, while you feel resentful and upset, you start to push away your own feelings because you just don't want to, upset them and you want to keep the peace. This one, you find yourself playing detective. This is when you are dealing with toxic Tony over there, okay? because you're trying to find his Facebook, you're trying to find his social media, you're trying to find what his ex-girlfriend looks like. Anybody that makes you have to do this, if this is what they are bringing out of you, please understand that you are in a toxic dynamic. And you're doing this because you're seeking answers that you can't actually explain. So you're trying to resolve those things and remedy those thoughts in your head. Am I going crazy? Did he really mean this when he said that? All right, he's always telling me that his ex is crazy. Should I should I figure out what she looks like? I kind of want to get an idea of what her character is like, because I don't know. I kind of feel like I don't really say anything. I'm just voicing things that are actually of concern of mine. And I feel like he makes me feel like I'm blowing them out of proportion. So anytime someone's going to make you feel like you have to investigate what's going on, you already know what's up. Love bombing, okay? And idealizing and overly trying to flatter you in a million different ways. Be aware of people like that. It is such a red flag to me when somebody is too charismatic and always trying to you could just feel it. It's just too much. Turn it down, okay? Turn it down. Turn it off, actually. These people, when you first meet, everything moves extremely fast, and that is not normal. Why? Because it's human instinct where we think to ourselves, okay, what did I do to earn this level of obsession and adoration from somebody that I just met? So be careful with people like this. I'm being serious. This is actually probably one of the biggest ones, to be honest, because these people are like chameleons. They mirror back your insecurities, your vulnerabilities. They try to align themselves so well with you so that you guys seem like you're so similar, you're so alike, you have so much in common. And what also feels good to our ego is these people constantly initiate conversation with us to make us feel like they are so interested in us. Beware of toxic people that compare you constantly to everyone else in their life. So what they do essentially is they will idolize you and make you feel so special by comparing you to, their exes or their family members and say how much better you are than them. And then when they go through their devaluing phase, because there are phases of someone that's going to be a toxic person or a psychopath. We'll get into that a little later. And in the devaluing stage, what they do is they actually compare you to them in a negative way to make you feel jealous and inferior of those people that they once said that you were better than. The qualities that they enjoyed about you now all of a sudden are glaring faults. So when you first met this person, right, they were like, oh my gosh, I love how you always just speak your mind and you're just so vocal about what you want. That very thing that they liked about you and that they admired, they're now using against you. You talk too much. Nobody cares about your opinion. You're always speaking your mind. Nobody wants to hear it. That is what these people do. They want to erode your personality, erode your boundaries, because they want you to only have whatever they're thinking and feeling. They want that to be the word according to God. Toxic people and psychopaths or even narcissists can always make you feel on edge. There was a quote that this lady told me when I was younger, and she said, the person that you are meant to be with is not going to make you feel super anxious and giddy, so to say. The person that you're meant to be with is going to make you feel calm and like you're at home. And I know you guys can relate to this. Have you ever been around someone that just makes you feel so anxious, and it's I don't know, you sort of feel like you're in an invisible competition all the time when you're around that person, because you're trying to gain their affection and their adoration so bad that you just want to be everything to them and for them, but you kind of feel like you're in a losing game. No one that is healthy and normal for you is going to put you on edge and then still you want them to like you. I can actually relate to this myself. That has happened to me before. The guy that I was in a situationship with, I felt like sometimes I would feel on edge, but I still wanted that person to like me for some reason. And that is because in a way you are in this silent competition with other people for this person's affection. And this other one, I can also say I've been, I don't want to say a victim to, but I have been a witness to someone that always claims that they have a crazy ex in the past. Why is it, okay, please allow me to understand that every single person that you've ever been with is crazy. I don't want to hear it anymore. Yeah, I don't. In fact, if you use that word, I'm actually going to assume that you made them that way. How about that? Because why is it that people love using that term? Oh, my ex was crazy. I dated this guy before, right? And he told me, oh, yeah, my ex was crazy. Really? So then why did you get back with her? No, because I would love to know. Like, I would love to know. Inquiring minds like, why did you get back with her if she's so crazy? Yeah, okay, enough. People that are toxic always have some sort of pity play or sympathy story, right? They don't know what they're going to do because their ex-girlfriend or their ex-boyfriend had dumped them in the 7th grade, and they just don't know how they can trust again because it really just broke them down. Their cat passed away when they were 6, and they just don't know how they're going to recover. Enough of trying to, allow these people to excuse their poor behavior and sometimes mental illness, because it's clinical at this point, right off into the sunset and allow them to walk over people and abuse people that are emotionally sound because we know that, oh my God, their cat passed away. They're enough. Going through bad things is not an excuse to be a bad person. Let me say that again. Going through bad things is not an excuse to be a bad person. We are not excusing that. Okay. People like this that have all these stories, they claim to hate drama, but yet it's all around them. Make that make sense. I hate drama and it's just crazy. But all this stuff keeps happening to you. That's interesting. It is. It really is. See, a favorite point of mine in this book is called triangulation. Now, toxic people, psychopaths, narcissists, they use this tactic of triangulation, which essentially is they surround themselves around their former lovers, potential people that they're going to date, or anyone that adds extra attention to them. And this even includes people that person, that toxic person may have talked about you to. They will still keep in contact with that person. And what does that do for you? It makes you think, oh my gosh, wow, this person is so awesome that, despite them saying that individual was so crazy, they are so wonderful because they're still in contact with them. And it creates this perception that person is in high demand. The mean and sweet cycle. I mean, this really does put you on edge, right? When somebody is all of a sudden they're really sweet. One day they're talking about, oh, I want to see you. I can't see my life without you. The next moment, you don't even know where they stand with you. They're being overly critical about you. And these people, because they're toxic and may potentially be a psychopath, they put in as little effort as possible. And as soon as you disengage, then they step it up, okay? Again, you don't have to be a psychopath to be a toxic person, but think about this, angels. How many times have you felt like the energy was weird with somebody, and as soon as you kind of reciprocated that energy, all of a sudden they are showering you with adoration? Boom, hello, hi, I don't need to hear another thing else. That is how you know when somebody is toxic, okay? When the second you're kind of disengaging, they all of a sudden want to show you affection. As soon as you tap back in, okay, and start reciprocating that affection, they start to disengage now. It's constantly a pull back and forth, and it's unhealthy. Now, this is how you know someone is actually a psychopath, because I don't think this is necessarily a toxic trait, but this person becomes your life, okay? You spend way more time with them than your own friends. They are isolating you from your community, okay? And eventually, you isolate yourself to make yourself more available for that person. And you don't necessarily always see this coming, angels. And that's why all of these things I'm talking about are so important to identify, because it sneaks up on you. It can come in the form of, oh my God, we're having this event. And then you're like, whoa, he's bringing me around his friends. He's doing this, he's doing that. Then next thing you know, it's been 6 months. You have not seen or spoken to your friends. You're responding less to their text messages. You're leaving them on scene on accident because you're so engulfed in this individual's world. Let me let you know this. Anybody that's going to step into your life and remove your support system, red flag, psychopath. I don't care which way you flip it, okay? There needs to be a balance, because what happens when somebody surrounds you around their friends, their life? When they're ready to pull the plug, and they will. When they're ready to pull the plug on you, you have nothing. And you're gonna feel like you have nothing because they've isolated you from everyone. And if you are someone that you know that you can identify with a lot of these different points, you need to be careful of vultures. And I loved reading this part in the book because vultures are essentially people that come across as very kind and warm at first, right? And they basically want to fix and absorb your problems. But then they begin drowning you in their unsolicited advice. They always need need constant like praise and attention. You can never disagree with them with anything that they're saying because they know best. And they essentially feed off of drama and this insatiable need to be appreciated by others. These are people that are always giving their opinion. Nobody asked you, okay? No, enough. We don't want to hear it from you anymore. And it's so weird. That actually happened to me one time. I met this girl randomly, like at like a bar. She gave herself this position to be like, I don't even know, like a authoritative figure over me. I don't know who gave her this position, but you know, and I don't know. I just quickly saw that she was very, very odd. And there are a lot of people out there that are like this. And I mean, I don't see how you can get along with people like this, where they try to like do so much for you, everything, things you don't even ask for. And then they turn around and if they don't feel like they're getting enough praise from you and appreciation for things that you did not even ask for, they demonize your character for it. Enough. Like, you're doing this for your own selfish gain, like, and you want me to listen to whatever you say. And if someone doesn't take that person's advice, they're offended by that. Like, that is not someone that truly wants to help you. So these people, they lash out when you become happy. They see your progress as a threat to, you know, their control, because they want to keep you in a perpetual state of dependency, because then they could keep feeding you with that advice. And you can just, oh, I'm so grateful for you. You give the best advice. You do this, you do that. Be careful of people like that. So there are 6 major points in the idealization process of someone that is a psychopath. And one is, we have so much in common. They want you to feel like you see the world the same way. You have the same sense of humor and that you're perfect for each other. But at the end of the day, angels, normal people have differences. That's what makes the world go round. Anytime you find someone that is just, you can tell they're trying to align themselves so much with you, that is a huge red flag. And this also includes saying that they have the same hopes and dreams as you, the same insecurities. They also do sometimes obsess over your appearance. So it makes you feel like, you know, that person feels like, wow, like, how did I get so lucky to like be with you? Because they're romanticizing you, right? Be aware though, because it's followed up by something else. They also, you know, they're love bombing you. Oh my gosh, I've never felt this way in my life about somebody. And essentially what this is grooming you, right? To put so much value in this person's words and in their feelings. And when they mention that they've never felt like this in their life, that's actually where the comparison starts to begin, because they'll compare you to like their exes and, you know, just talk about, oh, I can't think of a time where I've ever been happier in my entire life. And then they also want to project onto you, oh my gosh, like, I think we're soulmates. I don't know, like something's just different about you. Like we have so much in common. Like we both love green, and well, not just green, but emerald green to be exact. And well, our birthday's only 3 days apart, and 3 is my favorite number. So enough. Seriously. And what's interesting is when someone that is a psychopath begins to devalue you, right? Because the first process, the first, you know, part of the process is the idealization. When they begin to devalue you, you basically absorb all of the blame for everything that went wrong in the relationship in attempt to restore the memory that this person once had of you, which is we're so perfect for each other. We're so similar. We have the same this, the same that. And this is why psychopathy awareness is super essential, angels, because without this awareness, you will find yourself in a situation like this and not be able to think as logically, because you would assume that your soulmate was this person and that person existed, and you're trying to do every single thing that you can to get back that person, but that person never existed. Psychopaths, all they do is they mirror you and become a copy of you. So what they also do is they tend to condition your behavior. So if you find yourself in a situation where someone is toxic or they're a psychopath, they're going to do something called indirect persuasion. So after they've idealized you, they're going to make subtle suggestions about things. For instance, my ex and I always like fought, but like we never fight. Or like my ex and I used to talk on the phone all the time, but like you're not needy or demanding at all. My ex would always nag me about getting a job, but you're so understanding. Why? Because this is conditioning you to not ever mention these things. If his ex never fought, then I don't want to be argumentative. You know, if his ex always talked to him on the phone, I don't want to be nagging him talking on the phone. If he doesn't have a job, I don't want to nag him to get a job. Yeah, be careful of this because they're out there. And they are hiding these things, these subtle suggestions as compliments, but they're not compliments, angels. They're expectations. He expects you to not do these things. More importantly, we are going to move on to the identity erosion. Now, these people are going to break down your boundaries. They're going to destroy your boundaries, and they're going to do it in a plethora of different ways. So people that are psychopaths or sociopaths are going to condition their victims to feel ashamed and inadequate. And what this does is, if you are someone that, you've developed those perfectionistic qualities to prevent yourself from, being like called out by that, abusive, emotionally abusive individual, this is going to get you into the habit of always putting in more effort than that person because they have conditioned you to think that you may be lazy or whatever the case is, when in actuality, they are all of those things. And I brought this up in a previous video. Never cancel your plans because you don't know when the next time you're going to see that person. If you're canceling your plans, period, when you actually had something to do because you're scared that you don't know when you're going to see that person, cut that person off. Seriously, it's not worth it. You should not feel the fear of, oh my gosh, I don't know when I'm going to see them next, so I need to move around what I'm doing because, I don't know when's the next time I'm going to see them. That is not healthy. People that are respectful of your boundaries are people that you should be with, not people that are going to make you feel like, oh, well, at least I tried. Don't say I didn't try to see you. Enough. Come on. A major thing that people that are emotionally manipulative, what they do is they manufacture emotions out of you. That is manufacturing jealousy, manufacturing anxiety out of you, and then making you feel crazy for feeling that. And being with people that are toxic and unhealthy for you, they are going to make you experience a range of emotions that you have never in your life felt before. Essentially, they're making you feel things that you've never felt before, which will make you do things that you've never done before. And it will start to make you think, if I only behaved that way, then maybe they'd be happier with me. So you're constantly changing yourself for this individual, and they are manufacturing the entire thing and gaslighting you while you're doing it. These people are serial provokers, okay? And once they get a certain reaction out of you, then they will sit back and act like, oh my, are you okay? Why are you acting like that? Because they want you to feel crazy. And people that are toxic, and or a psychopath, they are addicted to drama, addicted to it. So they're going to inject as much drama as possible into your relationship and basically put you into situations that are impossible and then judge your reactions to them. So here's actually an example that I want to give you guys before we wrap this up. So you have a guy that says, hey, my ex is coming into town, the crazy abusive one who is still completely obsessed with me. And the girlfriend would be like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. And the boyfriend says, we're probably going to meet up later for drinks. She always hits on me when she drinks. So the girlfriend says, I'm confused. Can we talk about this in person? And the boyfriend says, do you have a problem with it? And the girlfriend's like, no problem. I guess I was just a little confused since you said that she abused you, but I hope things go well. I mean, it's nice that exes are, able to be friends. And then he says, wow, you are so jealous sometimes. And then the girlfriend says, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be jealous. I was just confused at first. And then their boyfriend says, your jealousy is ruining our relationship and creating so much unnecessary drama. And the girlfriend says, I'm sorry. We don't have to talk about it in person. I didn't mean to come across that way. And then the boyfriend says, it's fine. I forgive you. We'll just have to work through your jealousy issues. So essentially, this is what this person did. He put his girlfriend in an impossible situation that would make any human being jealous. And especially after just talking about how his ex loved him. And then he accused her of being jealous when she tried to respond reasonably. And then he basically played good cop by offering to forgive her for a problem that he created in the first place. So that's very interesting. And this is what I'm talking about manufacturing these reactions out of you. So now jealousy is something that you need to work on all of a sudden. Like, what? They convince you of anything. So this is one of my favorite parts, like quotes in the book. It says that psychopaths basically intentionally cause you pain you don't deserve, all the while denying they've done anything to begin with. And on top of that, they try to make it your fault. So you blame yourself for something that supposedly didn't even happen. That is how illogical these people are. You cannot win with people like this. I mean, there are so many other ways and things like that people manipulate you, that they are toxic for you. We can go on, and this video will be literally like days and days long. I mean, I tried to make this as concise as possible, and this book is like basically like just 2 pages shy of 200 pages, and I tried to make it as concise for you guys as possible to alert you guys of some red flags of people that may be toxic or a psychopath. And so in the next video, we're going to actually be talking about how to recover from these people. And remember that these cycles that psychopaths and toxic people go through are, idealizing and devaluing on repeat until there's a breaking point. And just to sum it up as to why these people do these things is because they are bored. They need constant stimulation. They'll put you on the defense because normally when people are defensive, it makes you feel like they're guilty. So they'll always make you feel like you're guilty for something. It's just a never-ending saga of emotional terrorism and manipulation. And this is one thing before we wrap it up that I want to note, that people that are psychopaths cannot stand being bored. And that's why they manufacture like reactions out of people. They need shock value out of this and that because they cannot stand solitude at all. And everyone agreeably needs some part in their life where there is some form of solitude. And because they feed on adoration and attention, being, by themselves will really agitate them, because essentially people that are psychopaths are always bored. So they need that constant stimulation from other people. Everything is externally, validated. Everything is externally regulated. They feed off of other people's emotions. So that's why these people choose to spend their boredom by manipulating others, engaging in, promiscuity, drugs, alcohol, whatever, the list can go on. And sometimes why people that are, psychopaths find themselves in relationships is because it's basically a stable and reliable source of boredom relief. They know that they have that constant person there that can feed them attention and adoration and like praise them whenever they need. And once they're bored or they see like another target, then that's when they'll start to abuse you. Essentially, psychopaths, they actually have the tendency to behave like children or innocent children, and they surround themselves around people that are very maternal and paternal, people that want to be there for them and offer support to them. And this actually helps them because they're benefiting off of your sympathy. So these people, they prey on your forgiveness, okay? That's why they seek out people that are very empathetic, very understanding, because this is going to enable them to continue doing what it is that they do. They thrive on your need for closure. They manipulate compassion and they exploit sympathy. So if any of these things have resonated with you guys, unfortunately, you are in fact involved with someone that is a toxic person or a psychopath or even a narcissist. And there is so much to cover. This video will be so long and it's already probably really long already. So I will actually continue this conversation in Wednesday's podcast to really take a deep dive into more of this stuff, because I really do feel like you guys can benefit from this. And be on the lookout for part 2, where I will be discussing how to recover from all these people, because we've talked about the traits of what toxic people and psychopaths, can do. So if you have identified with this, you know where you stand. I promise it is possible to recover. It is possible to get better. Your views, your perception of who you want to be with and what is possible for you is in fact still possible. So with that being said, Angel, that is the end of this video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope that this resonated with you. I hope that you learned something and that you can take this knowledge and prevent this from happening to you in the future. Or if you identify with this and you are in a situation like this, be on the lookout for part 2, because I'm going to tell you how you can recover from it and get out of a situation like that. Do not forget that I love you and God loves you, and I'll see you beautiful angels in my next video. Mwah. And hopefully I'll probably have on makeup in the next video because, geez, I need to heal from this eye situation. I love you.